What's up? I am Natasha Bryant, and we are here for lesson number 3 for lessons for authentic and purpose driven living. Lesson number 3 is unlocking your unapologetic mindset. So, when I'm sure you've heard of the term unapologetic, right? And what that means. So, I'm going to actually challenge you on that definition. But before I do that, let's talk about what types of thoughts can cause us to be fearful in actually walking in as our authentic self. Because it can be really hard to be your authentic self and be unapologetic if there are these automatic thoughts that are telling you otherwise, right? And so I'm going to share with you 4 different types of automatic thoughts. And these are not the only types, but these are the most common ones that I've seen in my practice as a psychotherapist. And so the first one is comparison. Second is assuming the worst. Third is should thoughts. And fourth is all or nothing thinking. Comparisons, you probably are very familiar with that, what that means. Another way to think about it is unfavorable comparisons, because when you compare yourself, you are often highlighting, acknowledging, praising someone else's accomplishments and the decisions that they're making while minimizing your own. And so as you are looking at somebody and highlighting them and just being in awe of what they're doing, you're saying to yourself, oh, I can never do that. Or I'm not even there yet. They're so much further behind. And then it ends up leading to the should thoughts, right? I should be doing this, or I should have started here, or I must, or I ought do this, right? And so a lot of times the comparison thoughts then segues into should thoughts. And should thoughts are these mandates. I think of them as like mandates. These mandates are these rules that we set for ourselves that we have to follow. And the crazy thing is, nobody has given us these rules. These are our own rules. These are our own expectations that we've set for ourselves. And we have made them non-negotiable. It's like we have to follow them, which is why we end up having some resentment feelings and or lack of desire or motivation to actually follow through and do these should things, because we don't really want to do them because they're not based on what we truly want. They're based on what we think we should be doing, right? And then you have the all or nothing thinking. All or nothing thinking is where it's a lot of this and that. It's where it's either I succeed 100% or I fail. It's whether I go all in hard or I don't go in at all, right? It gives you this idea that you only have these 2 options. There is no flexible mindset happening with all or nothing thinking, which then causes pressure to perform in this small window. Like you only have this little box of options, not realizing and not being able to realize that you actually have way more choices and options. And there is gray, and there's ways to find balance by accepting the gray. And then the fourth one is assuming the worst. You know how they say, you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. Well, a lot of times that leads to self-sabotage, because while you are staying ready by trying to predict the worst to happen so that it doesn't hurt as much when the negative outcome happens, or you don't feel as disappointed, or you don't get caught off guard when things don't work out the way you anticipated them to work out. Meanwhile, you're doing that. You're only allowing yourself to be able to focus and pay attention to the possibility of those negative things happening, and not even allowing yourself to see the good that is around you. And so it'll be really hard to walk in as your authentic self if you're assuming that you won't be accepted, if you're assuming that you'll be rejected, if you're assuming people won't get it or understand it, right? And then so you just avoid, because why would somebody want to go towards something that is going to have a negative outcome? Nobody wants to do that, right? That's not how we work as humans. And so you're going to want to then avoid even trying or taking the risk of being your own authentic self. And so you can see how all 4 of these thoughts produce fear, which then will lead you to not even want to even try to be your authentic self, and not even go after your purpose. And so now that you understand those thoughts, let's now talk about what unapologetic is. Now, you may be thinking, well, Natasha, unapologetic means, you don't care. You don't care about what anybody else says or thinks. You just do what you want to do. True. That is true. But I'm going to push you to go even deeper, because it's not just about not caring what other people think. There's more to it. If you really are trying to unlock that unapologetic mindset, you have to understand that there is a deeper level to being unapologetic. And that deeper level is understanding the power you have in controlling thoughts and what thoughts are. You may be thinking, like, Natasha, I can't control thoughts. Like, they just happen. They just come up. Or I can't control how somebody else thinks, right? Well, I'm going to help you understand how you actually do have power over thoughts, right? The first part I said is controlling thoughts in general, right? And what I mean by that is you have the power to determine and control how somebody else's thoughts impact you, how somebody else's opinion impacts how you think, how you perceive the world, how you see yourself. And then you also have control and power over your own personal thoughts and which ones you decide to accept and believe. That's the type of power I'm talking about. And then the part about the power of determining what a thought is, what a thought truly means to you. This is what I mean by that. When you think about what thoughts are, and this is where people end up falling in this trap of not feeling like they have power over thoughts. One reason is because thoughts are seen as fact instead of opinion. And the reality is, thoughts are opinions, they are not facts. Let that simmer. Let that simmer. Thoughts are opinions, not fact. Once you accept that, once you acknowledge that, you immediately start activating the power and recognizing that I have the choice on how a thought impacts me or what thoughts I choose to keep, because they're just opinions. And here's the facts on that. Let me show you and prove to you why this is true. When you think about what a thought creates a story or imagery of a situation. It gives you a perception of what something is, right? And how that is formulated is based on an individual's life experiences, is based on an individual's cultural experiences, their values, and the information they've learned throughout their lives. That's what formulates a thought. That's what then creates the story or the imagery that you end up having of a situation. And that's why it's an opinion, because it's all based on somebody's personal life experiences, culture, value, and learned information. And once you recognize that it is truly just an opinion, then you recognize that I don't have to take somebody else's thought as Bible, somebody else's information that they're sharing with me, their own opinion, as Bible. And then the other part is recognizing that you have the power to choose what thoughts you want to keep for yourself and what thoughts you want to let go. And recognizing that thoughts are interchangeable. And what I mean by that is that just because you have a thought doesn't mean you have to keep it. You can exchange it for a thought that's more helpful. Or you may have had a thought pattern that you've had for so many years. That doesn't mean you have to keep having that thought pattern. You can stop it and change it with a different thought. And so these are all examples of how and why you have the power to control thoughts. You have the power to determine what a thought truly is. And once you're able to recognize that, then you can unlock your unapologetic mindset. You unlock your unapologetic mindset by activating the power that you have over thoughts. And so again, that is you recognizing that I have the power to determine how somebody else's thoughts or opinions impact my life. I have the power to determine what thoughts I want to keep and what thoughts I want to let go, which thoughts I want to determine as helpful for me and what thoughts I want to determine that are unhelpful for me. And so here's your challenge. Here's your challenge for lesson 3. Lesson number 3. Now, make sure you've subscribed to this YouTube channel so you can get all the other lessons that are coming up, because we still have lessons 4, 5, and 6 and 7 and 8. And for you to also be able to go back and look at the past lessons 1 and 2, so you can complete those so that you can then build on to lesson number 3. But lesson number 3's challenge is this. I want you to make a list of all the different thoughts, whether it's your own personal thoughts and or opinions or somebody else's thoughts or opinions that you have been feeling like you have not had the power to let go of, that you recognize have been strongholds and bondage to your abilities to grow and elevate the way you want to, that are stopping you from being your authentic self and walking in your purpose. Make the list of those thoughts. And then I want you to use what you just learned today to work on letting go of those thoughts. Use what you learned today to activate the power that will help you let go of those thoughts. Now, I have a freebie that's going to help you continue to grow in this area. Make sure you click the link in the show notes to get access to a free training video that is going to help you be able to learn even more strategies that's going to help you pursue your dreams and be able to walk as your authentic self. Don't miss it. It's a short video, but it's jam-packed with practical tips. It's really going to help you grow and be able to be authentic and walk in your purpose. And as always, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, like the video, share it with others so other people can learn all the lessons for authentic and purpose-driven living. And as always, make sure you be bold, be safe, and speak life.